All right, good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out. In the rain, regular council meeting, May 12th, 2015, City of Rome Forest. Time is 6:32. And at this time, we will do the invocation of pledge. Pledge, please stand.
Heavenly Father, thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here today. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. I pray for our mayor, council, and the various levels of city officials, and in particular this assembled council. I pray for the agenda set before them today. Please give the assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around our beloved city of Roman Forest. I pray for our military currently serving and for those who have served. And I also pray for our police who protect us unselfishly. It is in your blessed name I pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor to the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
City Secretary, would you please do roll call?
Mayor Reese is absent. Mayor Pro Tem Park.
Here.
Councilman Lane.
Here.
Councilman Garza.
Here.
Councilwoman Peoples. Here. Councilman Wallace.
All here. Okay, do we have any public discussion? Does the police department have anything on here at all? All right, before we get started on public discussion, this week is National Police Officer Appreciation Week. And I want everybody to know that not only our police department, which does an excellent job protecting our city, but police officers across the country are doing the same thing. And I'm glad that they pick a week to honor y'all, Chief. So let your officers know that we do appreciate that. And if there's anything you'd like to say about that, you're welcome to.
Well, I thank you for bringing that up. We've already been made feelings very special. We got these posters up all throughout the City Hall and the Rome Forest Police Department side over there. And I was totally surprised when I walked in Monday morning. And we also, the City Hall made cookies and lunch for us today. Tony and Jackie and Liz and everybody's just been great to us. Definitely feeling special.
Well, thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I've got one person signed up. Cherie? Ms. Rich.
Good evening to all. I would like to invite you all to Memorial Day service, May the 25th, at the Purple Heart Memorial at the City Park. This is something that's been going on, and this has been questionable, but from my understanding, since 2002. And you all are welcome. Bring friends. It doesn't last long, maybe 35, 40 minutes. We have a short little program, and we're inviting you all to it. So please come out to it. It will start at 10 o'clock on May the 25th, Memorial Day. Now I'd like to address City Council.
Go right ahead, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
4th of July is fast approaching.
Sure.
We only have a month and like 2 weeks. And I sure hope that pavilion is finished because we sure are having a lot of rain.
They were still working on it when I came in. Just
Yes, I know, but I'm just grateful when I see somebody working down there. What I'm going to ask council to think about, and the city has done this before, pick the Grand Marshal for the 4th of July. And also, the city gets the quarter cans down on that board, and that we can, I guess I can talk to this closer to the 4th of July. So council and the city would be thinking of somebody, and also this is like the 40th year of the fireworks going on again. So we're going to try to do something a little extra special this year if we can. So
Y'all have anything else? What do y'all have planned to do now? Anything?
Sunday at 10 will be playing. We are checking into getting like a climbing rock wall type thing, which would fit down at the park someplace easily. We are checking into that. All funds will come out of the special events funds. And Carlisle secured a sponsorship from NSA this year for $500 towards the fireworks celebration. And that, I was very shocked, because we tried for several years to do that. Yes, they donated, they did a sponsorship for the components that we use every year, but this is up and above that.
You got a little influence in there.
Yeah. And he's working on some others, so that's what I want to put before council. Thank you.
Thanks for being with us. That's on that, council, we'll move on. When you look at approval of April 14th, city council meeting, approval of minutes.
Mayor, I make a motion to accept the minutes.
Motion on the floor, Councilman Wallace,
14th, as written.
set minutes, April 14th as written. Second, Councilwoman Peoples. Everybody was there, correct? Okay, any other discussion, council? All in favor of approval? Unanimous? Okay, Councilman Lane, we have a visitor here, Paul McLean. Would you like to introduce us?
So this is Paula, she's with the tax dispute resolution company, and she was out here, I believe, it was what, 6 years ago, 7 years ago?
Yeah, something like that.
And she really helps out a lot of people, a lot of residents here in the city dispute their taxes. If she protests your taxes for you, even if you don't ask her to or after your client, she only charges you if she can lower your taxes. So in spite of everybody's increases this year, I thought it'd be a good idea to bring her out tonight and see if she can be of service to you. She's been serviced to us in the past, and I'm quite pleased with her, so we feel welcome.
And I'm basically here just to kind of answer any questions y'all may have with regards to property taxes and, if your taxes have increased, that you ever protested, your homestead, things like that. So any questions y'all may have, or anybody may need help?
Paul, I have a question.
Sure.
I just received my taxes in the mail, and I went ahead and sent a letter of protest. How do you do that if I was to have you do that? They're probably going to send me a time and a date to be there. Now, if you was to have 10 people, you're going to go over there 10 different times and try to get right together.
No, I mean, if you've already protested, that's fine. I would still submit a protest, and then I would, have an appointment made to form, and you would authorize me to represent you. And once you sign that form, then they would send me the date and time.
Okay.
So, I mean, even if you protested, I can still help you with your protest.
Okay.
And you have till May 31st is the deadline. So, anybody that's interested. Oh, go ahead.
Is it true that it's not supposed to go up over 10%?
Your assessed value, which is what you will pay your taxes on, can only go up 10%. Your market value, if it goes up, for instance, say your market value comes in at $250,000, but they're saying your appraised value is $200,000. What they're going to do is they're just going to go up 10% each year until they hit that
Well,
number.
if it hasn't gone up since 2010 and all of a sudden they hit you with it,
They can still only go up 10% on the appraised value.
It says on mine 11.68.
Do you have your notice?
I'm sorry.
Do you have your notice with you? I'll be happy to look at it. You know what? I think I have some. Okay, actually, it looks like it did not go up over 10%. Because last year you had a little bit of a cap, but actually they went up quite a bit less. They only went up from 109 to 110, 560. So this year your market and your appraised value is aligned.
Thank you.
Oh, just to clarify that, if mine went up 103% on the gutted house. So what you're saying is they went up $100,000, I was paying a $10,000 payment increase for 10 years until it reaches that $100,000 extra mark.
Well, it has to be homesteaded,
Right.
and if that's your extra property, but also if you do a remodel, or you add a pool, or if you go in and just like do anything structurally different, they can go up more than 10%. So like a pool, they'll just add the cost of that pool, because that's a new addition to the property. But if the property's the same, and it's a homestead, and you have a homestead, they can only go up 10%. Yes, sir.
If you build a deck on the back of your house, will that increase the value?
Typically, things like a deck, something kind of small, they won't take that into consideration of the cap. So depending on how much you spend on it, or if it's something really, really big that adds a lot of value, a deck shouldn't make a difference on the 10%.
Okay.
I noticed that when I break out my tax down online, they tax my tax appraised at $6,700. I didn't know you could be taxed on non-livable space.
Well, I mean, you can be taxed on it, but things like, your land, of course, and then your structure itself, they tax. Things like fences, driveways, they don't add a value for that. But, a deck, but a lot of times I've found that their values, like on a deck or a shed, their values are way too high. So if you like go in there hearing and you break it down and say, I have this shed here, I'll pay $500, why do you have it on for like $6,000? So you can kind of get things like that adjusted, because it is mass appraisal, and when they throw that in the system, it's going to, it's mass appraisal, the values aren't always consistent. You may have a shed that doesn't have a concrete slab, so you really need to look and see each item and what they're appraising it at. So.
And I also noticed that the homesteading, they used to just be on store taxes, and then one other tax, I'm not sure what it was. But now they're like breaking down all my taxes and giving me a discount on like these for the county. Is that something new?
No, that's with your homestead, where they show you the breakdown, like each entity will give you a service
You
deduction.
do like 25,000, and now then it breaks down to 15,000 now. Is that, maybe I haven't been paying attention, but.
The school district has always been 15,000. Actually, they passed it, I think next year you're gonna have a bigger homestead on your school taxes. I think they're gonna make it, instead of 15, you're gonna get like a $33,000 exemption with your homestead. And, school tax is one of our biggest taxes we pay. That's half your taxes. So, but it hasn't changed, but it will be changing next year.
We just bought our house in February. When do we have to do our homestead?
You have to be in house as of January 1st. Now, did you buy a brand new structure, or have a build, or you bought from somebody else?
Yeah, we bought from somebody else.
Then that homestead that was already on there will stay with you throughout this year, and then in January you'll apply for your homestead. And actually, if you buy a new house, that 10% doesn't apply for the first year. It'll be like the second year you're in the home. Because a lot of times I think they're looking at your sale price and they want to be able to increase the value. So that 10% applies to the second year you're in your home. But I noticed I did probably about 200 protests in Montgomery County last year, and I probably was able to get 90% of them down. So they tend to come in high, and I know that Montgomery County for a lot of years, y'all probably remember your values were like crazy low, and then all of a sudden they started hitting them over the last 5 or 6 years. how they kind of got overboard, and I'm saying the values are too high. They're not really based on truths, what the market is. So, I mean, if you haven't protested and you think it's high, I would definitely suggest protesting.
I have a question. If they have a two-story, and let's say, for instance, they built out and used the second story, but it's not actually 8-foot walls. Let's say, for instance, there was an attic space, and the builder decided he wanted to go ahead and close that in and make it part of a upstairs game room. And you had the walls were only like a 4.5-foot wall on each side, and it went up just to a peak, and they had a table in the middle. Is that whole square footage on the base floor of that room upstairs classified as livable area, and you can be taxed for the whole square footage, even though it's not by state law the 8-foot ceilings or whatever minimum height ceiling is?
Yeah, I mean, the rule of thumb is air conditioned area. Is it regular central heat like the rest of the home, like regular living area, and then they can tax it as. Yes, sir.
I have a question. I've been protesting on taxes ever since I've been out here. And what I've been protesting is consistently raising my taxes. And I've protested on the fact of the replacement, how much it costs to build the house. Like last year, I protested, they were trying to raise my taxes up to $137,000. I got a bid from my original builder that could build a house for $111,000. And I protested on the fact that they're not giving me enough discount compared to the houses. My house was built at $85 a square foot, and mine was built at $50 a square foot. And I've done pretty good last year. This year, I don't know whether I'm going to make it out or not.
I mean, that's a way to look at it. When I go in there and protest, I look at the market, because that's the big thing is what the market value is. I mean, that's the way they appraise.
Well, I understand market, but I'm saying the actual cost to build that house.
Yeah.
If it's X number of dollars, and they're trying to start the tax on their estimate to buy that, which the market's inflated. If the market deflates like it did a couple of years ago, and kind of crashes, the price doesn't go down. Right now, it's driving high.
Right. I mean, whatever works. I haven't actually went in with that argument, which is a good argument. I mean, I pretty much say look at equity. Are you being equally appraised with your neighbors or market? What would the home sell for if you were to put it on the market? And that's why they look at all the sales in the neighborhood.
You're comparing your house to other houses
that are supposed to be the same age, same grade, but a lot of it, they can't look inside and get anyone's home. So they're just assuming the grade from the outside. And we all know that some people do like this amazing remodel, but they may not know about it. So then that's why it tends to make the values of homes that haven't been remodeled, kind of increase in value because, everything's done on the exterior. So, I mean, like when I go in and I use sales of, I'll try to pull up the MLS and say, look, well, I know this house has been remodeled, but a lot of it is just, you got to really go to compare your homes. It's hard to compare because you don't know what's actually went on in other people's homes. So the grade is important. You want to make sure that, they're comparing your house with somebody, that was built in the 70s. And if another home's been remodeled, or if you pull anything off the MLS, you might want to bring that in.
The other point I made with them too is a lot of the builders that are preparing the house have a lot more tagging and charge a lot more per square foot than other builders.
Like, what was your house built? What year?
2004.
2004. I mean, honestly, you should be compared to anything from like 2000 to maybe 2008. I mean, there's enough homes that have been built in Normal Forest. There's a lot of cells, So they really need to stay close to the age. And occasionally they try to, look at a 2012 home and compare it to 2006. When you're looking at, like, say, 2013, well, we all know if it's a brand new house, it's going to sell for more than even a house that's 5 or 6 years old. So they need to stay really close to the age of the home. So if they're showing you comparables when you go in, just point the age out. It needs to be very close within 2 or 3 years.
Well, that's what I did the last few times. The age of the material. Different tile, cathedral ceilings, garnish, and you know, other little things. My house has got a 10-year-old roof now. That house they're comparing, they just had a roof put on it.
See, those things are maintenance, so they don't really, like, you won't really adjust for maintenance, they'll just say, oh, that's maintenance. And then some other questions I've had with clients, like, I know they're building Tavola in the front. I mean, they should never compare anything in that neighborhood to anything. You are a separate neighborhood, you have a separate neighborhood grouping. So, and they even have broken down into a couple different neighborhoods. So,
But would you see that on any of the people that have their stuff here? And would you see that as a comparison on there? Or how would, you would have to protest in order to find out how they evaluate it? Or are they just evaluating the homes in Roman Forest whenever they're looking at the Montgomery County area that we're in?
I mean, they're looking at each neighborhood individual. The whole county is broken down into like little neighborhoods, neighborhood groupings. You know, because then we have rural areas, we have, you know, Roman Forest, and then, so it's all broken down, and so they should only evaluate stuff that's in your particular neighborhood.
But if they build the school in Tavola, and then a lot of the kids from here are going to that school, would they not lump that in also, since the people from Roman Forest are going to be attending that school?
Well, the taxes are totally separate. Y'all will be paying the taxes, but all the taxes are paid to the New Caney School District, and that might be split out, you know, throughout the whole New Caney area, like to all the schools in New Caney. So just because they're using tax dollars and your kids are going to this school, it still will have nothing to do with the appraisal.
So what you're probably saying is that if we see a $33,000 next year homestead exemption on the school district, is there a limit on what they can raise it? Even though they give you $33,000, could they go in there and say, since we're building the New Caney district up here, the new stadium went in, the other schools went in, could that offset that $33,000? We're getting 15 now, they're giving us another, let's just say 18,000, could it jump up past that 18,000 mark? So in reality, even though you get 33, you still pay the same amount of taxes.
Honestly, the exemption, even though you're going up to, you know, a higher exemption, and they're building all these things, I mean, they'll do that when the school or the ISD, when they budget their taxes for each year. But typically, it only increases maybe 2 or 3 cents per hundred. And so it will not have any more bearing on it than it ever has in the past. It's going to pretty much, you know, they kind of budget for the new schools and things like that, but they do that when they're setting the rate. So it won't have any bearing on, you know, anybody in any particular area.
Is there a place you can go online to compare your year your house was built compared to what else they built in there that year?
You can definitely go to the Montgomery County Appraisal District website, and you can pull your house up, and then you can look at the neighbors around you.
I did, but we built like 20 years ago, when it was just starting to build up again, and we're still being compared to houses that were built in 2005, 2007, and that's 12 years. So, you know.
I mean, the best way to find out what, you know, how they're valuing your property is to protest it. Find out, you know, who am I being compared to? You know, my house was built this year. You know, question the grade. Do you think your grade is, you know, you look at this house, it may be a B grade, you look at this house, it's a C grade, or they may have your grade higher, you know, say, well, my house is like this house. So you can kind of get some addresses, pull them up, and see if you're being, you know, if you feel your grade and things like that are comparable to what, you know, where they have you.
Yeah, every year I go down protest, I go down to the tax appraisal district, and they'll give you a list of houses that are compared to. About 5 houses have been sold recently in the past year. And the main gripe I have with the way they're doing it, they're not allowing enough to compensate the difference. What you have to do is point out the difference in your house and bring up anything that needs to be repaired before you can sell. And you probably have to get to the board. That's what I do here. I'm not afraid to go to the board. If they rule against me, I'm just going to take the next step. Because then it's less pretty expensive.
But if you do protest, question your grade. How will show you some other houses.
Where does that show up on the website? I didn't see a grade, I seen like 5 plus, a 6, and those are grades? Or
Yes.
you cover ABC, so.
Okay, Harris County's ABC. Yes, it's, yeah, 4, 5, 6, yeah, I'm thinking Harris County. But, yeah, check your grade.
So what would be a 6th grade compared to a 5
Like,
grade?
if you see some of your neighbors' houses, and I know a lot of people will go online and they look at what their neighbors' taxes are being appraised at. Look at some of your neighbors that you feel have a home that's very similar to yours.
So I pulled up some of the neighbors and they don't show up at all. Does that mean their taxes need to go up at all, or?
No, I mean, you should be able to find their home.
I
And,
thought so too, but.
yeah, I mean, you should be able to find it, and then go to, like, there's a little residential home, you know, the, improvement, click on that, and it should show you the grades.
Yeah.
You know, because that grade plays a very important role in your property's being valued. If you bring that grade down, you'll be surprised how much difference it makes in the value.
So a 6 is the highest, a 6?
6 is pretty high, one of the highest grades.
So that's the same, what about the house? I mean, I don't understand why one would possibly be considered a 5, one would be 6. What would be the special things about 6?
Just the grade of the home. You might have a stucco, really nice home that's probably going to be a 6 or a 6 plus. Compared to a brick house that may not be as nice. You know,
Just the appearance.
it's an opinion. It's an appraiser going out going, okay, this looks like a 6.
So if something built in 95 is still priced as a 6?
It can still be a 6. And then they're going to, the condition, and we're going to look at the condition of the property. But it is certainly an appraiser's opinion. That's why I tell everyone to look at it if they're doing their own property, but I say look at the grade, you know, see what you're compared to. Because, again, that's their opinion, and, you know, you're having all these different appraisers going out, they have their little clipboard, and they're going, okay, this looks like a, you know, so, yes, ma'am.
Do you think they'll ever, I say they're not going to do any appeals from a forest ticket?
Are they not gonna,
Yeah, one year, I think, there wasn't taking any appeals from home and forest. In other words, there
They
wasn't
take appeals, but they were lowering any
they were lowering any taxes.
again, I mean, you're working with so many different appraisers, they can't just exclude you and say, we're not gonna reduce anybody's property taxes in our home forest. I mean, they just can't do it. I mean, and they have to allow you to appeal every year. And I would certainly suggest if you're not happy informally, go to the board. Yes, ma'am.
I have 2 questions. The first one is, we were told when we bought the house that when you become a senior citizen at a certain age, that your taxes are locked in.
The school taxes, when you turn 65, and just for anybody that may be 65 soon or whatever, that's a very important year to protest. You want to get your value as low as you can that year, because the year you turn 65, your taxes for the school district are frozen.
But it's just the school district.
It's just the school district. I mean, they can always go down, but they can never go higher than what they freeze at that year.
Because I know they raised our appraisal and then they raised our taxes, whereas we are over 65 and we didn't think our taxes would go up. So one of the appraisals caused the taxes to go up. I don't know.
It's the county and like the city of Rome Forest, the other entities, I believe it's the city and water, well, I guess you'll city and waters together. But yeah, just the school district is the only one that is actually frozen.
Oh, school district taxes are the only ones that are frozen.
Yes,
At
ma'am.
age 65.
Yes.
That information isn't getting out, right, so when you see that happen. Another, I was in another meeting, and the subject was brought up about one or more of these tax entities that it is possible that one of them could decide to no longer grant the over 65 deduction, and they could withdraw. So if you might have been getting the over 65 frozen, that it would be removed.
I mean, that's a state law. They can change the amount, but I mean, everyone is entitled to an over 65. They can't grant you that freeze once you turn 65. I mean, they can't take that away. They may change the law in the future, but in the state of Texas, they can change the amount that they want to give for an exemption, but as far as the school taxes, once they're frozen, they're frozen. But you can always get them lower, they can always go lower, but they can never go above what they were. And even if you move, you can transfer your over 65 to another home.
That's just a tax rate, isn't it?
No, they freeze the amount that you pay that year.
They don't freeze the value of those, because they can raise the tax, but raise the value. Is that not correct?
Now, is it, whatever you pay here, you turn 65, they actually freeze the amount you pay, and it should never go above that frozen amount.
Oh, we're running short on time.
Okay.
I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the prices of cards that people have additional, like your fee structure you may charge and additional information for people who can't contact you.
Yes, I've been doing property taxes for about 20 years now. I've been working in Montgomery County probably for the last 18 years. As far as my fees go, I do charge contingency fee. It's 40% of whatever I save you. If there's no savings, there's no fee. You know, we're happy. I brought some forms here if anybody's interested. So basically, just came to answer some questions. If anybody needs help with testing, you know, I can do that for y'all.
Can I ask two quick questions?
Sure.
Market value can affect your tax rate. Can tax rate affect your market value? So if I protest it and they go down, it affects the market value.
Well,
So if I want to sell a house,
no, it does not have anything to do with that.
okay,
A lot of people think, oh, what if I get my value really low? Am I going to be able to sell it?
right,
It really has no bearing, because when people are looking for a home, they're not even looking at this. They may be looking at the rate, but they're not going to be looking at what you're actually appraised for. So those two really do not go hand in hand.
and then the other thing is my house backs up to a different neighborhood that's a lot lower tax bracket, and it affects my market value of my home.
Then that
Should that lower my tax rate?
it should lower your tax base. It should lower your appraisal, absolutely. Those are the kind of things you don't say, hey, look at what I have to look at my
Right.
backyard. You know, nobody wants to buy my house, so it would affect
Right.
that.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, Paul, we come back to you for
Oh,
sure.
let's, can I put your phone number in our minutes?
Yes.
What is your phone number?
It's 281-381-5150.
Y'all feel free to give her a call, because when y'all's property taxes go down, it helps with the neighborhood go down, so.
David, we couldn't hear it.
What's that?
Some of us couldn't hear it.
My number is 281-381-5150.
Thank you.
Like I said, she got some forms up there, and also some business cards. Feel free to grab one of them
I can give you this.
and share it with your neighbors.
I brought these just in case.
All right, council, any more questions for her?
Yeah.
Thank you, Paula.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Next item on the agenda, council, you're gonna see an ordinance 311, 2004. Is the resident here that wanted to keep bees? No? Okay. If y'all look at this ordinance, this is actually beekeeping in Rome Forest. I had a citizen call me, wanted to keep one hive of bees. If you look at that ordinance on page 3, 1.7, it basically prohibits it. A, B, C. You know, it's one of those things where I just said I would bring it up. Is anybody interested in changing our ordinance for this? I'm not, I'm just having something. Okay, and I'm gonna ask for no action on this, council? No action? Okay. Pavilion rental fees. As you know, the pavilion's being remodeled, MSID has spent money, our city has spent money, well, I'm sorry, we have spent money through contributions and grants, and MSID has spent money. And the old pavilion fees were, yes,
The old pavilion rental fees were $100 for residents for 4 hours and $150 for non-residents for 4 hours. Since East Montgomery County Improvement District has contributed most of the money, we need to charge the same for residents and non-residents, just the same as we did for the pool this year. So my proposal would be to meet in the middle for $125 for 4 hours of rental.
That's what, just like we did with the pool.
Yeah, but it's hard to get money from East Montgomery County. Some of the people on the board feel like they're going to treat the outside any different than we do the inside. And they're going to slow the spigot down what we're doing in our community, and I really don't want that to happen.
No, I agree. I agree absolutely.
What's the average amount of rentals y'all do a year?
About 6 or 7.
I mean, that's
I'm thinking it's
it.
gonna-
Even went to the 150, it's really,
Wouldn't make no difference.
That's right.
Not much at all.
I'm thinking a lot more people may rent it now that it's pretty.
It's remodeled and it's got electricity a little bit more available. So I'm thinking we might rent it a little more.
that's what I would say. I mean, you could almost, if you're trying to keep it to where the county is looking at it, East Montgomery County is looking at it and saying, hey, we put a lot of money into it.
They do look at that quite closely.
The other people's out there, I mean, y'all may want to talk about that some more, but it's almost like the remodel deal. It's just like if you're gonna go and have a tent set up, and you're gonna charge somebody $100 for them to have that area, and then you put this nice pavilion in the building, and you go up $50, it's well worth $50 to have a lot better facility.
You're right.
Your cost.
And that's true, I agree with what you're saying. However, we were charging $100 for residents, and I understand that everybody that lives in here, their tax money does contribute to maintenance, electricity on that building. So we are going up on our residents, $25, but we're also going to go down $25 for non-residents. Out of those 6, how many were residents, would you guess?
Oh my gosh, most of them are residents.
Most of them were residents.
We're going to meet with them.
Well, the 125 would be in the middle.
That's still very cheap.
That is very cheap.
$25. If you try to go somewhere else, you know, find a place to rent for $125.
What is the, chief, need your help on this, what, they have a party there, what is, at what point do they need to pay a police officer?
If they're gonna have alcohol, they're gonna need to hire a couple officers to provide security, because
Okay.
with alcohol, people,
So if there's no alcohol there, they can rent it and have 100 people there if they want.
right.
Okay.
But I guess there could be a point, I guess that would be if somebody made an application that there was gonna be 1,000 people there, then you might want to start looking at security. I don't think that the way everything's written is required, that doesn't have alcohol.
What's the access to the restrooms? The restrooms will be open from daylight until dark. So someone is actually going to go longer in the locker. Yes. The maintenance person will open them at daybreak and the police department will shut them at dark. It's to prevent any vandalism. Good.
And how's our security cameras down there, chief?
We actually utilized them not too long ago with the illegal dumping, so
Okay, good.
they're going good.
We have security cameras now on the pool area and the pavilion.
So actually, all we need is a motion, vote to equalize these pavilion rental fees to 125, resident or non-resident. That's all we need to do to make changes to.
I'll make a motion that we accept the new agreements as discussed, for 25, effective when the new pavilion's open.
Okay. Motion on the floor. Councilwoman Lane to go ahead and make the pavilion rental fees 125, resident or non-resident, effective when the pavilion opens.
Second that motion.
Second, Councilman Garza. More discussion, council? All those in favor of this? Unanimous. Item 4, deliberation, possible action concerning status of engineering study by J.A. Costanza. I know everybody was probably wondering, this is our engineering company that's doing our engineering study for our drainage and our roads. This letter is dated May 12. Status of drainage engineering study. All of the base drawings are completed. All of the intersections have been sketched into drawings. They have just started the actual survey work with all the GPS coordinates. This will take 3 to 4 weeks to complete. After that is complete, they will be concentrating on all of the intersections, making sure that the culverts under the roads are sufficient size and are not causing any issues, and also develop the drainage area maps and the outfall locations. After that is complete, they will be looking at driveway culverts to see if any of those are an issue. They stated that since it has been raining quite a bit, it has given them opportunity to come and actually see the water flow throughout the city. Next council meeting, they will provide a written update for us. The whole process will take about 2 to 2.5 months to complete from now.
And that's when we will begin our town hall meetings to let everyone study.
Okay, and so after that's complete, then they'll start the town hall meetings to address any personal concerns. People can put their input in on that. So we're 2.5 months away from the first town hall meeting with the engineering company.
Is the ultimate goal to be a road bond?
The ultimate goal right now is to see where our problem's at, what it's going to take to solve these problems, and then that could be a discussion. It also gives us a tool to use for new construction to make sure that everything new coming in is not going to create an issue. So to answer that question, I don't know yet. I don't know that yet. Right now, it's just a plan. To get a plan together.
You're going to have all the information to get one.
Yes. Yeah. I thought the last engineering study was 71, but it wasn't. There hasn't ever really been an engineering study here for drainage and roads. Council, anything on this? This was just an update. There's no action needed on this. Any more questions? Okay. All right, let's move on to number 5. Deliberate possible action concerning dividing the lot between 1910 Venus and 1902 Venus.
This is fine, so I'll step down for a little bit.
Citizen David Mullane has an issue that needs us to address. And David, I'll let you explain that to council.
Basically, council, I live at Lot 4, Section 1. I have a Lot 6. And I've been trying to get Lot 7 now for about 8 years. And so finally the guy told me I wanted the lot bad enough, I'll buy the house, so I bought the house. We're selling the house. What I would like to do is take Lot 7 of Block 4, Section 1 and suck it up over to 1902 Venus and take it away from 1910 Venus. Since I own both pieces of property, before I get it resurveyed, the surveying company said I had to have a blessing of council in the city. So I own those lots. I just want to suck the lot up from 1910 to 1902, then turn around and sell 1910 Venus. And I'll make sure there's still a 10-foot easement there. The property does stick over about, if the rock sticks over about 10 feet into that lot, I'll give an additional 10 feet to comply with the build line and the easement. I just need y'all's blessing to move forward with that. Like I said, I own both houses, I own the lot. I just wanted the lot, I'm going to turn around and sell the house. So if I can have y'all's blessing on that, you can see what lots I'm talking about. I can move forward with that process that I've been gathering now for about 6 or 7 years.
I've done this, and there's not a problem with you doing it. I've done this to the county.
I just didn't want to be, I wanted to do the legal thing, because I didn't want to just come in here and do it, and people think that I maybe just because I was on council, I didn't take the appropriate steps. I know other people don't go into, like I do, but I didn't want to be able to up it up and get y'all blessing before I move forward, because
Hang on, Colin. We can get a ribeye steak out of this.
there's 2 of them. But if y'all can get y'all's consideration and blessing, I would appreciate that.
Got my blessing.
No problem.
You got mine.
Thank you, John. Thank you, ladies.
Make a motion that we accept adding this lot to 1902.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, if you can just mirror lots 6 and 7 of Block 4, Section 1.
Okay, motion on the floor, Councilwoman Peoples, to accept Citizen David Mullane's request.
I second that.
Seconded by Councilman Wallace. Any further, you have all the wording there? Any further discussion, council? All those in favor? Councilwoman Peoples, Councilman Wallace, Councilman Park, Councilman Garza, 4. Any abstentions? No abstentions. Any against? No against. You got to abstain.
Mr. Lane, you need to abstain.
I'll say I'll do abstain.
Abstention. Council. Okay, council, we have items of community interest. Council first. Do y'all have any items coming up between now and next month's meeting?
New agenda items for next month, or?
That's not what this is. This is upcoming events, community interests, anything going on between now and the next time we meet. Anybody wants to let us know about?
I don't know of anything.
Council, citizens, anything coming up, anybody wants to announce? Okay.
I do.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
The pool is opening Memorial Day weekend. We have a pool manager who is going through training with the lifeguards last weekend and the next weekend. We're open for Memorial Day weekend and then close down through the week, the last week of school. And the next Saturday, we're open for the summer. So y'all come down and enjoy. We have water aerobics and swim lessons coming up.
So you do have swim lessons?
Yes. I don't know a start date yet, but we'll be announcing it on the pool sign up there.
Are they going to be from the wash?
No.
No?
There'll be a Red Cross certified lifeguard that is also certified to teach swim lessons.
Anything else? The council, city council, request for future agenda.
I've got a couple, if you don't mind. The chief has brought to our attention, he's getting several complaints, not complaints, but issues regarding group housing. And I think that's something we need to consider. We have rules for building single family and multifamily housing, but nothing about group housing. So I'd like to get with some of y'all in the future and discuss that in our next council meeting. Also, I've been in contact with TDCQ about the burning ordinance again. They call me on a regular basis. The wording on some of the definitions of outdoor burning is kind of vague, so it was their recommendation that we simplify that a little bit. And so we're in the process of talking with Larry now to get that where we have their blessing on just the wording of the burning issue. So we're going to change that definition just to make it clearer. And hopefully get them off our back. So I'll be bringing that to council next month.
Okay, so we're going to add, the burn ban, I understand. What about, give me the group housing.
Group housing is, Carl, you know
I'll
what
try to explain that. Councilman Wallace is actually, we were working on this before. I mentioned it to you. We have a house on Hummingbird that falls in a new definition of group housing. The city addresses building a duplex over building a single-family house, but it doesn't address group housing. The group housing thing came up in 2011 or 2010. A group of lawyers started asking a bunch of questions. Now they got several cities jumping on board to address the group housing issues, where you got a single-family house utilized as a nursing home, a child daycare. It can even be a drug rehab. It can be a middle house for when they get out of prison to where they get into society. So there's federal laws saying that you cannot exclude, you can't prevent them from being there, but you can, as a city, make an ordinance saying things like they can't be any more than a quarter-mile apart, for example, or whatever rules you can come up with. I've already promised Councilman Wallace that I would get the city attorney to draw up some kind of ordinance for us to review. So I'll be getting that to y'all as soon as I can.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, so you're going to include that on next month's meeting?
Yes.
Burn ban.
Burning ordinance.
Yeah, it's not a burn ban, please don't set that
Burning
wrong.
ordinance. I know, that's a bad word. Burning ordinance.
Burning ordinance and group housing.
Yeah.
Any questions on that?
Nope, we're good.
What's the ordinance under running a business out of your home cover that on the group housing?
Not when the feds tell you can't discriminate. Yeah.
They're protected
Council,
laws.
council still on next month's meeting, anybody want to add anything else? Any covered tonight we need to add?
I can't see you. Question about.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, ma'am, go right ahead. You were ready.
By clarifying, is this council supposed to clarify what the burning ordinance actually means?
Well, no, well, obviously the state, we have to follow state laws.
And we adopted the state ordinance,
Yeah.
but we're gonna try to clarify some of the
Definition.
definitions so that people can read through the attorney law. Is that kind of what you're after?
Yes, sir.
Kind of make it a little more simpler, but we're still gonna have, we have to go by state ordinance. We have no choice.
We have a few definitions there that kind of just need a little clarification on it. If you have too much wording, we need to get some wording out, but one person can read it as you can burn trash, another person can't. So we're going to change those definitions, make it unmistakably clear that you cannot burn anything but leaves, grass, limbs.
Oh, we can't. Is it not a better idea to leave it vague?
No,
No, right.
as the way it reads right now, the way some people read it, we're overriding state law by saying, I can interpret this as you're allowing us to burn trash out here. And that was not the spirit of what we wrote that ordinance. And so just to clarify the TECQ to get Neil unequivocally defined without hesitation or any doubt, we just got to change that definition just a little bit. Nothing's going to change other than the fact that we're going to make it a little bit more clear what you can't burn trash, household goods, things like that.
But I believe one of our residents, the way she's reading it, it means you cannot burn at all. You can't burn leaves, limbs, anything.
And another person's interpreted that they can, so it's just the definition's a little vague, and so we're going to really spot on, clear that up, and there's no doubt whatsoever what you can and cannot do out here in our city.
But didn't those come from the state?
Yeah, we're not changing the rules. We're
Yeah.
just changing the way we're presenting it.
Clarification.
Clarification.
If the state made them, they're not complaining, then isn't it better to leave them vague, so
That portion didn't come from the state, the one that he's talking about.
that's a different
Yeah.
portion?
It's just the environmental
portion with
protection
the
act.
rules. The portion with the rules was copied and pasted from the state. But the part that he's talking about is the definition where they tried to merge our old ordinance with the new one, and it just got overlooked.
We just need to clarify the wording,
You know,
just the wording a little bit.
there's not nobody saying you can't burn. The city can't burn.
The city as a municipality.
Yeah,
not as an
but
individual.
all you have to do is use common sense and responsibility for your neighbors. That's nobody wants to say that.
Well, I have to get permission from my neighbors to burn. And I know that's a state thing, I'm not saying make it up, I'm just saying it just,
The state says you have to have written permission, but the way we're enforcing it is if somebody complains within 300 feet, then we'll come and talk. If they don't live within 300 feet, you know, we might stop by, we're going to tell you you're not doing anything wrong.
dancing around my fire.
Huh?
Dancing around my fire.
I have another question, Ms. Riggs.
Don't forget on the agenda for the Grand Marshal.
Oh, yes. We didn't do any of that, but we've got to come up with some guys on that. And we've got a little bit of time left. I see one more hand back there somewhere. Nope, we're good. Okay, Grand Marshal. Council, there's no other business at hand. I just need a motion. Motion to adjourn, Councilman Wallace.